Annabelle Whitmore had lived her entire life surrounded by noise laughter at dinner parties. The clinking of fine china, the endless conversations about land, cattle, and money. Yet, it was silence that caught her attention that morning. From the wide porch of Whitmore Ranch, she watched the new stable boy work. He moved with quiet purpose, brushing down the horses as if they were old friends rather than animals under his care. His hands were steady, his posture relaxed, and there was something almost reverent in the way he spoke to the horses, though not a single word left his mouth. Her father had mentioned him casually the night before. Name's Travis. Came with solid recommendations, can't speak, but he works harder than most. Annabelle hadn't expected much. Still, curiosity tugged at her as she lifted her skirts and made her way toward the stables. The smell of hay and leather greeted her, familiar and comforting. "Good morning," she said. The man turned, clearly startled. His dark eyes met hers, alert but gentle. He tipped his hat in greeting, but said nothing. "I'm Annabelle," she continued, holding out her hand. He hesitated only a moment before taking it. His handshake was warm, careful. Then, with a small motion, he tapped his throat and shook his head. Kneeling, he picked up a stick and wrote his name in the dirt. "Travis," she smiled. "It's nice to meet you." His lips curved slightly, a quiet smile that stayed with her long after she left. Over the next few days, Annabelle found herself returning to the stables again and again. She brought apples for the horses, watched Travis work, and slowly began to understand him. He communicated with gestures, expressions, and short messages written on scraps of wood or chalked onto stall doors. She learned he had been born without a voice. That words had never belonged to him, but meaning had. Travis learned that Annabelle was not like the women he had known before. She didn't speak over silence. She respected it. She listened. As the sun dipped low one evening, their eyes met across the stable. Something passed between them, unspoken, undeniable. Annabelle realized that for the first time in her life, she felt truly understood. It didn't take long for the ranch to notice Annabelle's visits to the stables. Ranch hands exchanged knowing glances. Cook muttered under her breath. Even the horses seemed aware of the growing tension. A Whitmore daughter was expected to walk the halls of the house, not linger among hay bales and hired men. Annabelle paid no mind. With Travis, there was no pretense. She spoke freely about her mother's death, about the loneliness of wealth, about the pressure to marry a man chosen for her rather than by her. Travis listened as if her words mattered more than anything else in the world. His eyes followed her every expression. His reactions were subtle but powerful: a soft nod, a raised brow, a thoughtful pause. One afternoon, a sudden storm swept across the plains. Thunder cracked overhead, startling Annabelle as she crossed the yard. Rain poured down in sheets, soaking her dress in seconds. Travis appeared beside her, without warning, guiding her into the stable as lightning lit the sky. Inside, the rain drummed against the roof, enclosing them in a world of shadows and sound. She laughed nervously. "I suppose I should be afraid." He shook his head, placing a hand over his heart, then gently pointing toward hers. Safe. In the flickering light, Annabelle studied him, his strength, his kindness, the quiet dignity he carried. When she spoke again, her voice trembled. "I've never felt like I belong anywhere." Travis reached out and squeezed her hand. That was when Annabelle knew she wasn't just fond of him, she was falling in love. Her father noticed the change quickly. "You've been spending a great deal of time in the stables," he said one evening, eyes sharp over his newspaper. "I enjoy it," Annabelle replied evenly. "With the stable boy." His tone hardened. "That must stop." Annabelle stood. "He's more than his position." Her father rose as well. "And you are more than foolish sentiment. That man is not your future." The next morning, Travis was told to leave. Annabelle ran to the stables, heart pounding, tears blurring her vision. Travis stood there with a small bundle at his feet. When he saw her, his expression softened with sorrow. She shook her head violently. I won't let them do this. Travis stepped closer, lifting her chin gently. With careful motions, he signed words she now understood. You gave me something priceless. She kissed him, then desperate, honest, certain. Love didn't need permission. Silence settled over Whitmore Ranch, like a heavy fog after Travis was sent away. It seeped into every corner of the house, into the long hallways and the high-ceilinged rooms that once felt grand, but now felt hollow. Annabelle moved through her days like a ghost, answering when spoken to, performing her duties as expected. But something essential had been taken from her. For the first time in her life, she understood what true loneliness felt like. Her father noticed. Of course, he always did. Yet for several days, he said nothing. Pride held him back as firmly as it held her captive. Annabelle spent her evenings staring out her bedroom window toward the distant stables, wondering where Travis had gone and whether he felt as broken as she did. Finally, one evening, she could bear it no longer. She found her father in his study, the fire low, his shoulders heavier than she remembered. "You taught me to stand for what is right," she said quietly. "You taught me that character matters more than comfort. And yet, you sent away the only man who has ever truly seen me." Her father looked up sharply. "That man has nothing to offer you." Annabelle stepped closer, her voice steady despite the storm inside her. "He offered me respect. He listened when no one else did. He showed me kindness without expecting anything in return. That is worth more than land or cattle." Her father rose slowly. "The world is cruel to people like him, and so is this house," she replied. "Unless you allow it to be better." The words hung between them, heavy and unyielding. For the first time, her father faltered. He saw not a girl defying him, but a woman choosing her own life. 2 days later, Annabelle was walking the fence line when she saw a familiar figure at the gate. Travis stood there, hat in hand, uncertainty written across his face. Her father stood beside him, expression guarded but calm. "You were right," her father said gruffly. "This ranch needs men of character." Annabelle ran to Travis, laughter and tears colliding as she took his hands. He searched her face, afraid to hope. She nodded fiercely. "You're home." Travis exhaled, shoulders relaxing as relief washed over him. He pressed his forehead to hers, gratitude shining in his eyes. For the first time, Annabelle understood that courage did not always roar. Sometimes, it spoke in silence. Life at Whitmore Ranch slowly found a new rhythm, one shaped not by expectations, but by choice. Travis returned to his work in the stables, yet everything felt different now. He walked openly beside Annabelle, no longer hidden by shadows or whispers. The ranch hands noticed and so did the town. Some judged, others admired. Travis paid them no mind. Annabelle learned that love did not need constant affirmation. It lived in the small things. In the way Travis waited for her at sunrise, already holding her riding gloves. In the way he brushed her horse before she arrived, knowing exactly how she liked things done. In the way his eyes softened whenever she laughed. They found joy in quiet moments-long rides across open land. Shared meals, eaten beneath cottonwood trees, evenings spent watching the sky turn red and gold. Annabelle spoke freely, no longer afraid of filling the silence. Travis listened as he always had, fully and without interruption. When Annabelle doubted herself, Travis reminded her of her strength with a simple squeeze of her hand. When Travis felt out of place in a world that often demanded a voice, Annabelle stood beside him, proud and unyielding. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Travis led Annabelle to the hill overlooking the ranch. He knelt and pressed a small wooden carving into her pommel horse, carefully shaped, smooth from hours of patient work. Her breath caught. "It's beautiful." He nodded, then placed her hand over his heart. Annabelle understood. "Yes," she whispered, tears shining. Always. Their future would not be loud. It would not be written in speeches or promises shouted to the sky. It would be written in actions, loyalty, and a love that needed no sound to endure. As the stars emerged, one by one, Annabelle leaned into Travis's embrace, certain of one truth: the deepest love speaks without words, and it lasts forever. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Western love stories.